Well, the Super Bowl is behind us, and we're looking ahead to the Combine kicking off in 2 days from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. You were there last year, correct?
I was there last year.
What was
my
that
husband-to-be is also there right now, sending us updates. So we love that. The Combine is chaos. It's just 100 people everywhere. You're trying to get to who you're talking to. Our experts are out there talking to coaches as well, so it's a lot. You got to keep your head on a swivel.
You absolutely do. Coaches out there, GMs out there. I mean, everybody who is anyone in the world of the NFL is out in Indy right now. When we take a look at that schedule, we got Thursday kicking things off with the kickers, the D linemen, and the linebackers. Friday, we got the DBs and the tight ends. A lot of attention Saturday with the running backs, the quarterbacks, and the receivers. And on Sunday, finishing off with the O linemen. It all kicks off Thursday, February 27th. That's this Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. But don't you worry, we already have a cast and crew on site ready to prepare us for every aspect of the Combine. Take it away, Ryan Wilson.
Thanks. Here in Indianapolis, 2025 NFL Combine, Jonathan Jones, Pete Prisco, I'm Ryan Wilson. Pete, earlier today we talked to Brian Callahan, second-year coach for the Tennessee Titans. They have the first overall pick, and he danced around the subject like we thought he might. But you don't seem to think that a quarterback is in their future in terms of drafting one, correct?
Well, I don't think it's a slam dunk. Let's put it that. I don't think it's a slam dunk. You do? I don't. And in large part because I don't think any of the quarterbacks in this draft are slam dunks. And so if you look at it, who are the best players in the draft? They might not be the quarterback. So are you overdrafting the quarterback just to draft one? And the answer to that might be yes. I don't think they're done making that decision.
Right, they're not.
And I think they're going to explore all possibilities. He said that. They're open for business. They might trade the pick. Who knows? But the reality is I think that decision's still to be made.
Yeah, the Titans have gotten calls on that #1 pick. They're not the kind of calls that make you say, oh, we're going to trade the #1 pick, of course. And I don't think that the Tennessee Titans are going to trade down. If they do, they're not going to trade down past 6 or 7. I mean, Ryan, you know very well this draft. You know the strength of the draft. And you know that after you get past 6, 7, 8, yep, that you're not really getting that blue chip talent. So, Pete, Ryan, obviously you're both correct in that they have not determined that. I think the odds are, the plurality of chance is that they will take a quarterback, that they will take Cam Ward #1 overall. How much will they learn from Cam Ward out here at the Combine? I don't know, because I don't think he's going to throw. They're going to meet with him again. They'll have him at Pro Day. They'll have him in for a top 30 visit. And that is when they will make that decision. You also have to consider who's going to trade up with the Tennessee Titans, right? Would it be Cleveland at 2? I don't know. We'll hear from Andrew Berry. And then could it be the New York Giants? I don't know. They may have Matthew Stafford.
Las Vegas.
Right, Vegas. It's not going to be the Patriots. If the Patriots do anything, they're trading down. So ultimately, I think right now today, Pete, I do think that they would take a quarterback. But to your point, it is not a slam dunk.
All right, so JJ's in right now. Pete, right now, what are they doing?
I think they're going to move down and take a defensive player.
Okay, and quickly before we move on, JJ, any sense of whether Matthew Stafford would be in the orbit of Nashville and the Titans, or?
I think he could be. Right now, you're not trading the #1 overall pick for Matthew Stafford.
Right.
You're probably not trading the top of the 2nd round pick for Matthew Stafford. You're trying to get away with trading a 3rd round pick, whoever you are. If you're the Tennessee Titans, if you are the New York Giants, because he's still a 37-year-old quarterback that you're going to have to pay somewhere around $48, $50 million. Yeah. So you're not sending a 2nd round pick for a guy who of that age. So it could happen in Tennessee, but obviously a lot of focus right now on the New York Giants.
Yeah, but if you trade for Matt Stafford, and means you're going to have to pay Matt Stafford. And that really doesn't make any sense if you're the Tennessee Titans. You're trying to build this thing. When Matt Stafford, when your team is built around him, he's going to be old enough that he's not going to be any good anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure they even have a 3rd round pick based off the moves they've made in the past couple of years anyway.
I think their situation has to be either you stick with what you got and draft a quarterback in the 3rd round or something and draft a marquee defensive player. Because one thing Brian Callahan did say, he talked about building the offensive and defensive lines. And we saw with the Eagles, what the Eagles did was build with the offensive and defensive lines.
But they had Jalen Hurts.
Correct.
They cannot go into week 1 with Will Levis as their starting quarterback.
Look, and they might not, but they
won't.
They might have some that bring a veteran in or somebody else, but I don't think they necessarily have to take a quarterback at #1.
We got plenty of time to talk about that. I want to get to something else. Another old-timey quarterback, 36-year-old Kirk Cousins, I believe. Big deal last year, around 12 months ago. The wheels fell off in part because of the injury. You tell me, JJ, what's the future of Kirk Cousins in Atlanta?
Well, he's going to remain an Atlanta Falcon. for the time being. And look, the Falcons are posturing. We talked with Terry Fontenot, the general manager, shortly after he spoke at the podium. They are willing and ready to accept that $10 million bonus that would kick in 2026. Look, you talk about this. Is it 1 year, $90 million at a sunk cost because that was the guaranteed money? Or do you make it 2 years and $100 million? What's really the difference is $10 million. Right. And as the salary cap continues to increase, we just saw it, it's going to be around $280 million this year. In 2026, it might be $300 million. What's an extra $10 million to the Falcons to, one, make sure that you have a backup quarterback, because Kirk Cousins is their best backup quarterback option that they could find out there. That's something that is indisputable. But number two, they don't want to get pushed around. And Kirk Cousins, it is very clear, is trying to punch his way out of Atlanta. He's saying what he is saying. He had the Super Bowl comments about the injury and the injury report and all of those things. He wants out. He has a no-trade clause, and he wants to be able to pick his next spot because he has been usurped. We know that it's Michael Penix Jr.'s show there. I don't think that the Falcons want it out there. They're like, yeah, you can punch your way out of here if you want to. That's not what an organization, any organization, will allow.
You know what that's like, though? That's like the bank robber came in and he took every bit of money you had, and then you threw another $10 on top of it and said, go ahead, take some more out the door. I mean, it's pettiness. It makes no sense to me. He can't be on the roster next year. You know that.
He won't be on the roster in
even if
week
he's
one.
a backup quarterback, it wouldn't work. You can't have Kirk Cousins be a backup quarterback to the future quarterback. It just doesn't work. He's not going to deal with that.
No, he's not. Now, ultimately, what the Falcons want is a draft pick for Kirk Cousins. They could cut him and get nothing. They want a draft pick.
What realistically are we talking about?
Realistically, if someone actually realistically trades for him, because right now no one is, because everybody thinks that they're going to cut him before the start of the league year. So we're going to have to get to the league year, and when we see, like, oh, wow, the Falcons are serious, they're going to keep him. 5th round pick.
Okay, that sounds right.
Right. I mean, a low 4, something like that. That's your best case scenario if you're the Falcons.
So $10 million. They're spending $10 million for a 5th round pick, essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
Right.
And some principle involved. Ultimately, what is going to happen? I think, ask me right now, I think they're going to have to cut Kirk Cousins.
I agree.
All right. We got to move on. I know you guys love talking Kirk Cousins. We'll do that on the bonus podcast. You have some news on Jonathan Allen?
Yeah, Jonathan Allen, defensive tackle for the Washington Commanders. Well, probably not for the Washington Commanders much longer. I was able to report earlier on Tuesday that Jonathan Allen has been allowed permission to seek a trade from the Commanders. We remember him, of course, as the first-round pick in 2017. He got a big contract extension just ahead of the 2021 season. He goes to back-to-back Pro Bowls after that. But, look, the Commanders have been preparing for life without Jonathan Allen. They signed Deron Payne to a big contract extension 2 years ago. Last year, they draft Johnny Newton in the 2nd round. And so, look, he has 1 year left on his deal. It is not guaranteed. To cut or to trade him is going to free up about $17 million in cap space. The Commanders have a lot of cap space already, but he tore his pec last year. He came back, played decently in the playoffs, certainly, but they are going to move forward without Jonathan Allen. They'll see if they can find a trade partner. If not, in a couple of weeks, they'll cut him loose.
All right, that's it for us here for now at the 2025 NFL Combine. We'll be here all week. Jonathan Jones, Pete Prisco, Ryan Wilson. And Pete, remember, wherever you get your podcasts, you can check out With the First Pick. Just click
With the First Pick. I've heard of that.
Click QR code. You can listen to us anytime you want.